In this video, we will talk about the history of the Renaissance. The Renaissance was a period of cultural, artistic, and intellectual revival that took place in Europe between the 14th and 17th centuries. It marked the transition from the Middle Ages to the modern world and is often considered one of the most important eras in history. The word Renaissance means rebirth in French, reflecting the renewed interest in classical antiquity that characterized the period. Origins of the Renaissance. The Renaissance began in Italy during the late 14th century, with Florence often cited as the birthplace of this remarkable period. Several factors contributed to the rise of the Renaissance in Italy. The region was wealthy and politically stable, and its cities were major centers of trade and finance. The decline of feudalism and the growth of a wealthy merchant class created an environment where arts and learning could flourish. Humanism, a key intellectual movement of the Renaissance, emerged during this time. Humanists focused on the study of classical texts from ancient Greece and Rome. They believed in the potential for human achievement and sought to revive classical learning and values. This intellectual movement laid the groundwork for many of the period's innovations and ideas. Key figures of the Renaissance. Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci is one of the most famous figures of the Renaissance. His talents were not limited to art. He was also an inventor, scientist, and writer. His masterpieces include The Last Supper and Mona Lisa. Leonardo's detailed anatomical drawings and designs for machines demonstrated his deep understanding of both art and science. Michelangelo Buonarroti. Michelangelo was another towering figure of the Renaissance, known for his work as a sculptor, painter, and an architect. His sculptures, such as David and Pieta, are renowned for their emotional power and technical precision. Michelangelo also painted the Sistine Chapel ceiling, creating one of the greatest masterpieces of Western art. Raphael Sanzio. Raphael was celebrated for his harmonious and balanced compositions. His most famous works include the School of Athens, which features a gathering of great philosophers, and the Sistine Madonna. Raphael's work exemplifies the Renaissance ideals of beauty and grace. Niccolò Machiavelli. Machiavelli was a political thinker whose writings, such as The Prince, analyzed political power and governance. His ideas about leadership and statecraft have influenced political thought for centuries. Galileo Galilei. Galileo was a key figure in the scientific revolution, which was a significant part of the Renaissance. His improvements to the telescope and his support of heliocentrism, the idea that the Earth orbits the Sun, challenged traditional views and laid the groundwork for modern science. Artistic and architectural achievements. Art and architecture. Renaissance art and architecture focused on realism, perspective, and human anatomy. Artists used techniques like linear perspective to create the illusion of depth on a flat surface. Architecture during this period saw the revival of classical forms, such as columns and domes, with the design of St. Peter's Basilica by Michelangelo being a notable example. Science and innovation. The Renaissance saw significant advancements in science and technology. The invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg in the 15th century revolutionized the spread of knowledge by making books more accessible. Scientific inquiry became more systematic, leading to discoveries in various fields, including astronomy, anatomy, and physics. Literature and philosophy. Renaissance literature was characterized by a focus on human experience and individualism. Writers like Dante Alighieri and Petrarch, who were early Renaissance figures, wrote in vernacular languages, making their works accessible to a broader audience. Renaissance humanists like Erasmus and Thomas More explored themes of ethics, society, and politics. Education and learning. The Renaissance emphasized the value of education and the study of classical texts. Universities expanded their curricula to include subjects such as history, poetry, and moral philosophy. The revival of classical learning also influenced the development of modern languages and literature. The spread of the Renaissance. While the Renaissance began in Italy, its influence spread across Europe over time. The Northern Renaissance, which took place in countries like France, England, and the Low Countries, had its own distinct characteristics. Artists and scholars in these regions were influenced by Italian ideas, but adapted them to their local contexts. The Northern Renaissance was marked by a focus on detailed realism in art, with artists like Jan van Eyck and Albrecht Dürer leading the way. In literature, figures like William Shakespeare contributed to the Renaissance's rich cultural tapestry with works that explored the human condition. Renaissance humanism. Humanism was a central intellectual movement of the Renaissance. It emphasized the study of classical texts, the value of human experience, and the potential for individual achievement. Humanists believed in the power of education to transform society and focused on subjects like literature, history, and ethics, rather than purely religious studies. 1. Petrarch. Often called the father of humanism, Petrarch was an Italian scholar and poet who promoted the study of classical literature. His works and ideas influenced many Renaissance thinkers. 2. Erasmus of Rotterdam. A Dutch humanist, Erasmus was a leading intellectual figure of the Northern Renaissance. His writings, including The Praise of Folly, criticized corruption in the church and emphasized the importance of education. 3. Thomas More. An English humanist and statesman, More is best known for his work Utopia, which imagined an ideal society based on reason and justice. Scientific advances. The Renaissance was also a period of great scientific discovery. The spirit of inquiry and the emphasis on observation and experimentation led to significant advancements in various fields. 1. Astronomy. Nicolaus Copernicus challenged the traditional geocentric model of the universe by proposing that the Earth revolves around the Sun. Galileo Galilei's observations with a telescope further supported this heliocentric theory, leading to a new understanding of the cosmos. 2. Anatomy. Artists and scientists like Leonardo da Vinci and Andres Vesalius studied human anatomy in detail, leading to more accurate depictions of the human body and advances in medical knowledge. 3. Physics. Galileo's experiments with motion and his development of the scientific method laid the foundation for modern physics. His work challenged established ideas and paved the way for future scientists like Isaac Newton. 4. Mathematics. Renaissance mathematicians made significant contributions to algebra, geometry, and calculus. The use of mathematics in art and architecture, particularly in the study of perspective, was a hallmark of the period. Impact of the Renaissance. The Renaissance had a lasting impact on Western culture and thought. It helped to shape modern art, science, and philosophy. The emphasis on human potential and individual achievement continued to influence Western civilization long after the Renaissance period ended. The ideas and innovations of the Renaissance laid the foundation for the Enlightenment and the modern era. The Renaissance's focus on humanism and empirical inquiry contributed to the development of modern science, democratic governance, and secular thought. The Renaissance was a period of profound change and creativity that transformed Europe and laid the foundations for the modern world. Its achievements in art, science, literature, and philosophy continue to inspire and shape our world today. The legacy of the Renaissance is not just in the masterpieces it produced, but in the spirit of inquiry, innovation, and human potential that it championed. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel before you go. Thank you for watching.